So let's go ahead and we're going to officially start talking about Alien Earth episode 6, The Fly. I mean, what can we say? We had a great episode last time. Last week was the greatest episode, I think, the most eventful. But
Mhm.
I will say that I think this episode did suspense really well at the end.
Mhm.
And we were picking up right back to present day, the story we had, because when the episode 5 left off, we had sort of done the this is what happened on the ship, but then we ended in real time with them talking about how, hey, we're going to meet with the lawyers, arbitration. We'll get this worked out between Utani and Cavalier. That's where we're at now. And what do we got going on this one? The big things in this one are
So they end up meeting with Wayland Utani, boy genius. Remember, they had their meeting.
but that was sort of in the middle, but that is a big part of it. So she had the meeting with William Utani and Cavalier. And like I said, they had the lawyers there and the arbitration. They were trying to come to an agreement. And she basically checkmate her because he basically dunked on her, basically exposing that she had like specimens that were illegal. I guess they're not
Yeah.
supposed to have all this shit, and she's trying to hide it. It's a big cover up, which I mean, I wonder why she wouldn't have been prepared for him to do that, because clearly, did she expect that he didn't find that stuff? I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a little weird. Yeah, sorry. Before that, I think that was the whole Nibs thing where
Yeah,
they
that's
erased her memory. Yeah.
well, that's so they're not really important in which order it came from. So
Yeah.
we'll just stay with the
Okay.
arbitration thing. But he basically he ended up nickel and diming her out of $20 billion, and he agreed to give back the ship and the contents. But where he got her was he called her out on a legality of after a 6-week quarantine period that was required, which obviously clearly that pissed her off, because 6 weeks is more than enough time for him to do what he's got to do with them, or
Mhm.
what experiment, take whatever. And she was trying to up the ante. She offered 50 billion for right now, and obviously that wasn't going to happen. But
What do you think of the scene where he's like sticking his dirty ass feet on the table and stuff like that?
I mean, it just shows his character more,
Yeah.
where he's childish in the sense
Yeah.
that, not that he's not smart, but in the sense that he's disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's childish like a kid would be, wait for him to fucking pick his nose and wipe it on the table at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
He has no respect for anybody, but he's also confident. He's
Mhm.
overly confident. And but
Smart as
that's
hell. Yeah.
that's how that went. Now with the Nibs thing, where we left off with her is on the last episode, or the last time we saw her, she was having a baby and she's pregnant, and obviously we're piggybacking off the same themes of, like, you're not fucking human. The kids think they're human because that's the promise they were sold. We're just gonna transport you into a body that's not gonna die and be mortal, and we're saving you, we're helping you. When obviously we've had Timothy Oliphant say things that have contradicted that, like, you know, you're not human. And yeah, this just kind of pushed that even further, where they're playing God even more. It's like, hey, remove it, remove
Yeah.
the trauma, remove whatever it is she went through on the ship that caused her to feel like this. And then they were begging that question, like, hey, that goes against the program. Now we're changing their personalities, and they were, that's ultimately playing God. And the
But I mean, they had to know it was going to come eventually. The changing of the personnel. At least the scientists should have known that. You'd think he'd be smart in that, but I mean,
yeah, I don't
you're already playing God by switching the personality into the body. So
so you've got the husband and wife deal. The husband, he's on his fucking high horse, where he's like, no,
mhm.
I can't do this. He first says no because he's taking orders from that bald guy to do it, and he's like, we can't do that. That's a bridge too far. But then the wife, she intercepts saying, we'll do it. And then, great, then he gets fired.
Mhm.
um, and she's capable of doing it. Now, I don't know if why is she capable of doing it? Is she capable of bending those rules and those moral? Does she sit on the other side of the fence morally, or is she wanting to do whatever she's got to do to protect? Is she justifying it, like, by protecting the kids and literally removing the trauma?
Well, I think she saw how powerful they actually were, where Nibs was like pretty much on top of her and could have
Yeah.
killed her. So I mean, she knows what they're capable of. So she's willing to go, do it.
So, and then this is where the episode gets really, really good. Obviously, we still have like the brother and stuff. We have what is his name? The Indian boy who's being put to task by Morrow to get somebody, to lure somebody to the face hugger. And I knew he wasn't going to be so easy to do that with a brother. As much as
Mm.
you and I probably both want the brother dead. Um,
Yes.
we knew it wasn't going to go
Yeah.
to plan.
Mhm.
That's boring TV. And so he goes in there awkward like a kid, like, hey, let me go show you something. It all I thought they played the scene pretty well because
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, he comes off really awkward, like, no, what do you want to show me? Because that's
Slightly, yeah. Yeah, he's,
because a
mhm,
kid has no a kid doesn't have a lot of discretion. They can't really hide stuff really well.
mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I've been in those situations like, no, I'm not. You know, it reminded of Lou, come with me.
Yeah.
Like, I forgive you for letting me die. And
Let's go into this room. Yeah.
yeah, and what preempted that whole thing of him actually offering to come with me, it was about the discussion before that. He seemed on edge.
Mhm.
He was nervous, and then he let his feelings take over because he said, you know, it's not fair that you get to see your family and we don't. He was already starting to act a little erratic and obviously emotional, and then he's like, come with me, let me show you something. It's like, no, I don't think I will. You're acting weird. And but yeah, and then that was that. And I already knew the second the doctor got fired, I knew he was the guy that was going to get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, they were going to somehow juke and it's not going to be the brother. And then he was going to get it. And then, of course, that got solidified once the brother fucking backed out of the thing. And, but so what happens is you have Toodles, I think his name is. Toodles is everybody's trying to win the heart of somebody. Everybody wants to be somebody's favorite, just like a kid. You have the one girl that was, she didn't get much screen time in this episode.
No.
She was just by the dock or whatever. She's trying to get Boy Genius's favor. She wants to be the favorite and whatever, and she's jealous of Wendy. And Toodles wants the favor of Timothy Oliphant, and he wants to be a scientist. He wants that sense of identity. He even chose his own. What was his name? He not Jules Verne.
He changed it. Yeah.
He picked whatever scientist, I can't remember. And but they're sitting by that dock, and then, you know, Oliphant is away on business at that arbitration hearing. I don't know why he has to go to all that. Why did he even go, by the way?
He's
It's
the
not like,
right hand man. So he's the muscle, just like the other cyborg is Morrow.
yeah. And he calls him and he's like, hey, look, you know, we're coming back from a meeting. You basically have to do the chores, make sure these creatures eat, do this, follow the protocol. And he asks, is the other one around, basically to help? And him wanting to be the favorite, she's clearly there. He says, no, I can do it. I'm a big boy. And he's like, well, follow the protocol step by step. Don't be an idiot, basically. And that's ultimately what gets him fucking killed, because had he told her and she went with him, she would have been able to get him out, because he ends up going there and he locks himself in the containment unit with one of them. And it's interesting because he's feeding each one of the specimen. It makes sense that the lamb would eat like grass or whatever the hell that is, because even though it's the eyeball, it's possessing the body of the lamb. Makes sense. I think the fucking big thing was eating like meat or something. I think it was more carnivorous. But the bugs, they were eating like metal scraps and all kinds of weird iron and shit like that.
Mhm.
Which, you know, Eva, my wife, she's actually really good at painting shows. Like, sometimes I'm distracted by the fucking kid or whatever. I'm not, and she's like, oh, I was like, well, it's gonna eat him because look, you saw he was eating scraps. It tells you that it is a threat. And at first I'm thinking, well, clearly Toodles is going to get it, because why are they building all this tension? And I'm like, well, maybe the eyeball is so quote unquote smart to where it doesn't need to have a reason to kill it other than it's a threat, because they keep acting like, oh, they're not going to touch you because you have nothing to offer them. But like,
Mhm.
well, if the eyeball's so smart, why wouldn't it just fucking take him out to take him out? And but no, I think they established it when he was feeding it. I'm like, oh, this thing just eats junk, metal scrap, probably iron, probably whatever the fuck maybe they're made out of. I don't know. But the bug just like sprayed the acid in his face, and I love that. I
That
love
was
that
cool,
gnarly,
dude. Yeah.
slow dissolve of his face. And I'm like, oh, because you still think, oh, this is still a kid.
Mm. Mhm.
um, so I thought that was really cool. And then elsewhere, we have the doctor. It's all starting to come to play, like I predicted, where the doctor is clearing out his shit. He's got to the day to clear it out. And it's funny how the guy's like, you know, if you're here by the end of the day, you're considered a trespasser and you'll be shot. And, you know, he's in his main lab, right? And that's
Now
where
Wendy's brother comes in,
Wendy's
yeah.
brother comes in, and he's asking him because he had a talk with his sister, and she, I think it's all about these aliens. Like, she's like, hey, I think it was a mistake. He's like, I don't, it's a mistake. These things coming here. She's like, they didn't want to be here to begin with. She's learning to communicate with them more. And he wants to get her out of there. And, maybe she feels like she's got a higher calling now to help this species because she doesn't want to go. I don't know. But he asked the doctor point blank, and he asked her, is she in danger? Um, and he senses, he shows that they're being watched. He looks at the camera,
Yeah.
and then he does that old trick, like, no, they're great. Let's check out their vitals. Come to the computer, and he's giving them fucking messages on the fucking
Mhm.
monitor. Basically, get her out of here.
I mean, how obvious was it? He looked back at the camera. I mean, even if you're on the camera,
They're gonna know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like, also, it's like, why the hell you're fired?
Be like,
And why
okay, let's zoom in. Yeah.
Yeah, and why the hell are you telling this kid about vitals? Like, what
Hmm.
who gives a shit? Oh, yeah, because in all these like TV shows are always like, okay, zoom in, enhance it.
Hmm.
Like, that technology doesn't exist. Well, it'll pass in a futuristic show like this, but they always do that on like Law and Order SVU.
Yeah.
And I don't think that technology exists where they're like, they get like some shitty fucking street light camera,
Like, yeah, like 430p or something like that, where you can't see anything.
and you'll have fucking Finn iced tea. It's
Yeah.
like on the corner of Bumfuck and Wonton. They'll take
Mhm.
a red light camera, like zoom in, enhance it,
Enhance it. Yeah.
and then like all of a sudden it's like
Make it like
crystal clear.
8K, dude. Yeah, you can see every little detail.
That's not the way it works.
No.
But it's a plot convenience. But they always do that. Enhance it. Like, just why, if we have this technology, why isn't it just like enhanced camera? Like, why, it's really stupid. I wish we could do that for our fucking podcast, dude. I wish we can go back in time to
Mhm.
our old fucking grainy days where we're talking about The Walking Dead. I'm in my Russian apartment, dude, and it looks like shit on my like really shitty webcam. I wish we can go back in time and I could be like, enhance it and make
Yeah.
it like 8K.
Oh, that'd be hysterical, man.
But that's where we're at. So anyway, he's going through and he winks and he basically says, that's all the information I can give you. But he does that because he disconnects them because they're all connected.
Mhm.
Timothy Oliphant, they can see through them, they can monitor him and everyone. So he disconnects all the Lost Boys so he can go get Wendy. But in doing so, he sees on the computer after the brother leaves that Toodles is unresponsive, and
Mhm.
that's what raises his alarm. And then it's just falling right into what I said. He goes to the lab to find Toodles. He find and then now at this point, that's where we have the Indian kid. He's having second thoughts. He's literally outside the lab, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And but clearly the doctor basically feeds himself to the plan. He's
Yeah.
there, and it just
Works
makes it.
out for him.
Yeah. Well, he still pushes him. He's like, basically, he's like, well, you've made it this easy for me. And he goes in there, and all he has to do is lock him in, basically.
Mhm.
That's basically all he has to do. Well, he goes in there and he sees Toodles, and he's dragging Toodles out. And in the meantime, there he lets out the facehugger. He lets
Mhm.
out the facehugger. He leaves the lab and he locks him in. That's it. And this whole scene was great. Like, I thought when he's like begging to like let him out, like, hey, yada yada, I got a family too. Blah blah blah. When there's something about that facehugger when it like grabbed onto him. That was the most visceral face hugging I've ever seen.
Yes, that was pretty sweet.
It felt disgusting, and because
Yeah.
it's like the sound design they were using, it's like I could hear the fucking facehugger cock going down his throat, and it felt really, really disgusting and gross. And the most interesting part about this is the whole time Timothy Oliphant's letting it play out, and I think
Mhm.
this plays into what your theory is, that he's going to be a bit of a rogue agent.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not he's going to sell out his company later, or he's already working for Weyland-Yutani,
Mhm.
because he's watching the whole thing. He's already been watching the boy talk to Morrow the whole time without saying anything, sort of hinting at things and feeling people out, but he can see it. And he's watching the scientist get face hugged. And, when Cavalier asks him on the ship or whatever, if everything's okay, and he says, great, not in the sense that everything's going according to our plan. He's just basically saying, yep, everything's ship shape. So
Well, and he obviously knows Morrow somehow, so they probably worked together in the past, or maybe they're working together currently. So
there's something going on as far as he obviously wants the anarchy to happen. I don't know what his game is yet, but he's gonna know. They're gonna come back, and he's gonna have a leg up because he hid the body. He hid it in one of the I don't know, vents or whatever the hell that was. And the one of those bugs got out too.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to really give a shit about the bug, because once this fucking beast comes out, I mean, that's going to be game over. All I know is the next episode, we better have tearing ass now, because we have the xenomorph that Wendy is like training.
That was pretty cool. When I saw the drop, I'm like, holy shit.
She thinks, oh yeah, when it came down, it's hanging off the ceiling. That was cool.
Yeah.
You know, it was growing at a rapid pace. It was kind of a baby. Last time we saw it, it was like a snake. This one, it's like a baby. And you know, the CGI was a little real on this one. We could see it, you know, the daylight shot or whatever, but it is what it is. Then it looked much better when it was already grown up and it was hanging from the ceiling or whatever, in its little zoo cage or whatever. But she was talking to her brother, like, maybe this one's good. I don't know what the angle there is. I don't know if she's really going to have some sort of psychic link with it where she can train it like a dog. I
hope not.
I don't want there to be a bub. I don't want there to be a smart alien. I want them to be primitive and they're just nature and it's going to do what it's going to do. Hopefully that's what happens. But we've got that one, but it's locked up. And but we're going to have this one that's rogue, which is cool.
You imagine them teaching it tricks, dude. Hello, Aunt Alicia. Yeah, they're teaching the xenomorphs to talk, dude.
Yeah, well, you know, somebody mentioned it on the last one we did that there was a deleted scene in the original Alien where it did talk.
Oh, on the
it mimicked through Mother, and it was talking as one of the voices or whatever, which is kind of a Predator thing. But I'm glad they didn't do that. But
real quick, jumping back to the brother, there's that scene where he's walking around with his two buddies or whatever, and he was pretty much trying to see if they were human or not. Is what I was getting at. Remember, he was asking all those questions.
Who?
The brother. He was with when they were outside walking around.
He's trying to get a feel. Yeah.
Questions like, I mean, are those humans? Are those synthetics? Or what are those? I mean, what's the game for those? Why did they get brought in there just because of him, or who knows? But I found that kind of interesting.
Oh, you talking about the black girl and those almost like they were
soldiers. Yeah, I know, but he was just trying to feel him out. He's like asking a bunch of weird questions that they were trying to figure him out too. So I don't know.
Yeah, she said something kind of interesting where like basically he was basically saying, hey, these fucking things are here, yada yada, and she made the comment of, hey, look, we're making money, we're doing good, at least I know where the creatures are, type of thing.
Yeah,
like, hey, that's it wasn't a bad point. I'm like, especially if you know what this company's capable of at this point, it's like, well, I guess I'd rather be on the inside. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I wonder what's going to happen. I hope we don't have like a Godzilla versus Kong situation. Can you imagine if like this bad alien's loose and her trained good alien like fight for us?
No,
they kill each other. I hope they don't do that, because that's really
I
stupid.
Hope. You know what? It sounds like it could happen though, if she could communicate and she's training this one. Yeah,
because what's the point of this alien? What's the point of this alien if it, because we've already got another one coming, and I don't think anybody knows about Toodles because the doctor's dead and Timothy Oliphant knows, and he's obviously keeping it a lock and key. So by all intents and purposes, the only person that knows who that alien is Timothy Oliphant, which I'm assuming, if he can see through Toodles or all the kids, he saw him drag him where he dragged him, so he's gonna know where he is right away.
Yeah.
So I wonder what's going to happen as soon as they land back and they get back. He's obviously going to play coy, but he's going to go right to the lab. I wonder what he's going to do. I wonder if when he gets there, it's already gone. Because then we would have havoc. But if it's not already gone and he's still being incubated, well, then now that's not going to happen. I just don't. That doesn't present anarchy. If he found it before it actually hatched or whatever.
Yeah, then it would have to hatch, I would think. Yeah.
Well, clearly he doesn't want to just like put it in another incubator for Cavalier to have. He clearly doesn't want Cavalier to know everything. So maybe if he saw it, maybe he would just like keep hiding it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they only attack the humans, then basically he's waiting for Boy Genius to come back, so he's locked in there, and then they can recap it on Boy Genius.
So I think we've only got 8 episodes.
Okay, so there's 2 more then, huh?
That's it.
Okay.
So I'm really hoping that the next episode, hopefully it's not like an episode where it's just like we're waiting for this fucking egg to hatch type of thing. I want it to be absolute just anarchy. But what is the point of the good alien? Not the good alien. I hope it's not good. But the one that she's training, one that came from the lung, it's got to serve a purpose. I just don't. I want it to be. I hope they're faking us out. I don't think they're smart enough to do that, but I would like for them to fake us out to make me think, oh God, it's going to be like fucking Godzilla versus Kong and we're going to have a good alien. No, I hope they're faking that out. And then at the end of the day, we just have two fucking aliens.
Well, and I think it's going to come down to her and her brother escaping, and the alien won't attack her brother because it's part of her brother. It's a brother's lung, that sort of thing. So that's why he doesn't end up killing the brother. That's a theory.
I guess you're right. I guess that could be something because he already, you didn't. What happened to the first one again? That Morrow, the one that, what happened to that first alien that fucked him up? That threw his tail through him. What happened to that one?
Did he get frozen?
Did they?
I
I already forgot
remember.
what they did to that one.
Yeah. Or did she kill it? Because didn't she kill it in the second episode?
She had
in
like
that
the knife.
room?
Yeah, she had the knife, and then
Yeah.
it was off screen. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, so where do we think we're going with the next one? 2 more episodes, mind you. Hopefully,
I don't know how they're going to wrap it up in 2 episodes. There's got to be another season of this, I would think.
No, they're already doing another season.
Oh, they are. They announced that.
Yeah, it's going to be seasons. But yeah, the whole Boy Genius arc is going to be over in this. I have a feeling. So, like, where do you think? Predict the next episode and maybe even the second one. Like, how are they gonna the last one?
I think that the Lost Boys will end up getting picked off one by one. I think Boy Genius won't get killed until probably the last episode, and her and her brother will end up escaping, like I said, and the alien won't kill it. Hopefully, he will, but yeah. And then I would say Timothy Elephant is working with Yutani.
Do you think he's existent? You think he's a mole?
I do.
I'm starting to think he's a mole. He's not going to defect unless, I mean, he I just don't know what he would want to gain. It's not like he cares about money unless he's gathering all this information and he's going to take. I feel like how would him and Morrow know each other previously? Like, I didn't gather that, but you could.
I think the old Yutani, the grandmother, planted him in Boy Genius's circle back in the day. So, I mean, he's probably been around for how many years? Because he's a newer model, newer than the cyborg Morrow. So,
yeah,
I don't know, something around
that's a good theory. But yeah, we don't really know where he came from. They've never specified that Boy Genius built him or created him. And I mean, I don't know if they just came off an assembly line. I mean, I don't know how new Boy Genius is. We don't know how old Timothy Oliphant is, but if Boy Genius is only a certain age, like maybe you're right. Maybe he inherited this synthetic some way, somehow. But he's an interesting one because he's sinister. He's what I like to see in a synthetic. He's kind of close to the way David Michael Fassbender was, where he's almost like a learning computer. He seems nefarious. He's capable of stabbing people in the back, but that's what only supports maybe he already is working for Yutani, because if he's a machine and he has a mission, these things that he's doing, it's not self-sabotaging because he's selfish. It's because he already has another mission. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think Morrow would already be in there getting those aliens back if he was working. Yeah, so he didn't have a mole in there already. So
so now we're back to, we don't think he's already on the payroll of Yutani.
No, I'm saying Morrow, the reason why he hasn't gone in there and snatched the aliens is because he already has Timothy Elephant in there that he's working with. So
what do you give this episode?
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a solid episode. It's good. There's some cool death scenes. It's not my favorite episode. Last week was better, but it was highly entertaining, I thought.
I would normally give it an 8, but because it played Godsmack, I give it a 7. I dock it. I just thought they really lost the momentum with me on that one. Like, now we're like, Godsmack was a weird band because they were kind of a leftover. It's like kind of like Creed. They're actually they came out at the same time as Creed, and they were this leftover of a dying era, which is like this post grunt. Like, who are they trying to be? But then, like, we were starting this new metal thing. They were a weird band. I don't know. I just really hate Godsmack. They suck.
So you
But
used to like Godsmack, didn't
I
you?
never did.
When I first met you?
Never did. Never fucking you take that
Oh,
back.
in middle school? Maybe
Never did.
I just saw a bunch of Godsmack shirts back in, like, middle school,
And you just
maybe.
assumed I was one of them. No, I never
I don't know,
never
dude.
I never
Maybe it
never
was a
did.
corn shirt you used to wear.
Yeah, I used to wear a Korn shirt. I like
Okay,
Korn.
that's it.
And I still would rather listen to Korn than
Oh,
Godsmack.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
But no, yeah, Godsmack was just so fucking. I tried listening to that first album when they first came out. You know who was into Godsmack? Let's just say his name is Jaime Porter.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
He was into Godsmack, I remember, and he used to like write on his book and talk about God. And I listened to the first album
Mhm.
at his request, and I remember like in middle school, and I'm like, I I don't know. It's like it kind of sounds like the music I like, but there's something fucking watered down about this. And I
Yeah.
listened to that first album, and I felt like every fucking song sounded the same.
Yeah.
Even then, I knew they all sounded the same. And then, of course, I hated it, so my dad liked it, and he's
Oh,
like, "Oh
okay.
yeah, this is a Godsmack." And like, okay, great, you have it. My first introduction, and then I remember Godsmack was on the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack.
That's a great soundtrack, by the way, I love it.
Their song "Time Bomb," which is
Yeah.
on. Actually, I think Time. I don't know if it was on the first album or the second, but they were on that, and I skipped it every damn time.
Mhm.
I like the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack too, but like now that I look back on it, I'm like, man, this is really kind of all over the place. It really
Oh,
was.
yeah, it was random, dude.
It's
Yeah.
like, and this is still back in the days where you could have rock as the lead singles. The
Mhm.
fact this is the last time you would ever see a band like Metallica have the lead single for a Tom Cruise movie soundtrack. That's not fucking ever happen again. It's like Limp Bizkit did the theme.
Yes.
Metallica had the lead single, but they played Limp Bizkit in the fucking movie. Dun, in the opening credits. Dun, dun, dun. Like
Yeah.
they literally did the fucking
Mhm.
Mission Impossible theme, which is weird. And
And
it's
they had the
so
Scum of the Earth, Rob Zombie.
scummy. And that was before his second album came out that was
Butthole
on.
Surfers was on there. Roger Waters, Have a Cigar, remember?
Well, that
The
was
Foo Fighters
Foo Fighters covered it.
covered it.
That's
Yeah,
Pink
yeah.
Floyd. And it with Brian May on guitar on that. Like he guest stars on it. Yeah, I remember that.
Going Down was the Godsmack song.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's a shitty song.
Yeah.
Really shitty song. There's a band called Powderfinger. You see Powderfinger on there? Not
I
my
don't see
kind of
power.
scene.
I see a no. I don't see that.
What's the band? Not my kind of scene. Not my scene.
Oh, not my kind of. Yeah, Powderfinger. Yeah, that is on there.
Powderfinger.
Yeah.
So I remember at the time, I'm like, what is this fucking Coldplay shit? And but it turns out that Powderfinger at the time, that was their introduction to America. Like the deal they worked out, let's put them on this big soundtrack, but they weren't anything. They were actually a huge band in Australia.
Mm.
And I just always passed it off. And I remember I made a good friend from Australia years later, like when I traveled, and he fucking let me just extract everything off his iPod at the time, and he had fucking Powderfinger on there. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Powderfinger, mate, they're great." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And that's where I learned that they were a big fucking deal in Australia.
Okay.
And then it's still very Coldplay. It's not my thing, but he introduced me to these albums by this guy named Bernard Fanning, and it's very folk singer songwriter stuff. And it's the singer of that fucking band Powderfinger, and I love that guy's solo material. He's got this record, and nobody in America knows it, but it's huge in fucking Australia. But I listened to it. I actually bought the record. I imported it, and it's this record called Tea and Sympathy, and it's absolutely amazing. It's one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life, and it's just like 10 fucking bangers of this singer songwriting, fucking steel guitars. Like it's so good, and doesn't sound like Coldplay, but I highly recommend listening to Bernard Fanning, Tea and Sympathy. It's very
They also had Uncle Cracker on there.
That's right. Let me see if I can remember the song. Uncle Cracker. Oh gosh, what was that fucking song called? What's it called?
What You Looking At?
What You Looking At? That's right. And I remember
Buck Cherry.
Buck Cherry. I remember Hans Zimmer's song Naya is on there from the soundtrack.
Naya. Yep.
And what does Buck Cherry sing on that?
Alone.
I guess it's not that weird because it's not like hip hop, but it's all kinds of weird. When you think of
Tori Amos is on there too.
Yeah, she had some weird rock cred back in the day, though.
Chris Cornell did Mission 2000.
Yeah. I want now. That was on his first album, Euphoria Morning, and which I like his first solo album, Chris Cornell. But yeah, anyway, it's not weird because it's all alternative rock. I think it was just weird because it's like, oh, at the time, yeah, Metallica and Limp Bizkit was huge, and Rob Zombie. It just started off with such a bang. It's like, oh, now we're getting. At the time, I didn't like that Chris Cornell song, and at the time, it's like Godsmack. What is this, Uncle Cracker? It just felt like really fucking weird. So I don't know if I like the soundtrack as much as I used to, but anyway. If this was a music channel, we would have to do a tier list of soundtracks, rock soundtracks.
That'd be so great. Yeah,
we'd have to let's rank all these fucking soundtracks with all this
soundtracks.
With all these incestuous bands playing on all of them. It's like they all have Power Man 5000.
Yeah,
they all have El Nino,
Cold Chamber.
They all have Cold Chamber.
Yeah,
they all had Slayer. Which Slayer was hanging on during those times. It's like
and they got the resurgence.
Pantera and Slayer were hanging on during the new metal times. So it's like you'd have like Avoid the Light and The Badge, which is the Poison Idea cover. That was the Crows. I actually wanted to buy the Crow soundtrack, but it went out of print, but it was on like you could buy it on vinyl, but I would like to have that. Because that was before we went full art hard. With new metal, because Crow came out in the mid 90s, so that soundtrack is like Pantera, 9 Inch Nails, stuff like that. I think Smashing Pumpkins are on that too.
Dracula 2000 was Avoid the Light, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think the appeal to that song is just the fact that it's a song that we don't really have, but it's not that great of a song. I don't really think
I enjoy it. You got Static X on that.
Static X is always on that.
Yeah.
I remember like the Bride of Chucky soundtrack, that one too. They played Bled for Days on that one. Bled for Days, Bled for Days. And it's always Static X, man. And Mushroom Head was on a few of those.
Mushroom Head, yeah.
I listened to this is kind of going off the beaten path. I listened to Jamie Josta of Hate Breeds podcast. I love his podcast.
Yeah.
He's great. It's just like a chat show, and he talks to just people in music. And he's funny, dude, because he's just a total caveman. And he talks about he's like, oh man, back in the 90s, man. He's like, the soundtracks, they paid the bills, son. He's like, you got fucking soundtrack and you have the Taproot on there. And he's like, they don't do that anymore. He's so funny. It's funny how he just kind of lives in the past a little bit. He's hilarious.
The Queen of the Dam soundtrack.
Yeah, that's where that one was all composed by Jonathan Davis of Korn, and he had different singers come on. And I remember they had that song "Forsaken" with David Draymond on the radio. Yeah, I didn't like that shit. He had Marilyn Manson on there. I never liked Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Oh, Earshot.
Tones. I mean, they were on there.
Earshot was one of those Tool ripoff bands that just sounded just like Maynard. Mm-hmm. And when we have a buddy that was like a huge Tool fan, and I had this buddy. Lloyd, will you please watch The Road? I had this friend. He of course they came out and he loved them, and I'm like T. I don't know, like, man, I would think as a massive Tool fan, if I hear a band that's a carbon copy knockoff, like literally trying to sound as like, I would hate it.
Oh yeah.
I would hate it. Like there's this band that was kind of popular in the early 2000s, kind of part of the whole like hard, like they were part of the metalcore movement, but they're just like, they're called, you remember this band called Throwdown?
Throwdown, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Their singer sounds exactly like Phil Anselmo. Peak Phil Anselmo. Fred? Anyway, no, their singer sounds exactly like Phil Anselmo. He does all the way he enunciates, the same, even the production. It's just like, it's shameless. And I'm like, man, if you weren't ripping off something I love so much, I would probably like you, but I can't fucking listen to you. I can't do it. I'm gonna start a band. I'm just gonna rip off Max Cavalera, where I'm gonna have an accent and I'm gonna say things like "bring the shit."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like you couldn't get away with it. But anyway, all right. Well, that's all we got. Keeping it nice and tight, high and tight. And tomorrow, join us. We're gonna, like I said, talk about the movies that we have planned to get through this fall. There's a couple of news items I want to discuss that have come out this week. And I definitely want to talk about this thing we hinted at, this YouTube related thing, because that's kind of, not gonna lie, it's actually part of my irritation.
I've been so irritated about that.
I think all that stuff is adding to it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm with you on that, brother. It's making me pissed off. So
but anyway, all right, guys, we'll catch you hopefully tomorrow.
see you
Bye.
guys tomorrow.
Big thanks to the Revival House family. Your loyalty fuels our obsession with horror and lets us uncover the darkest, most twisted gems just for you. If you're not a member yet, consider joining the cult today. You'll get early access to videos, exclusive content, and behind-the-scenes scares you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, this is Revival House, your home for horror, and remember, we'll leave the house lights off for you.